What would you choose, the Volkswagen Golf R or the Mercedes-Benz AMG A35?
Only one way to find out. Get in, go for a drive. All right, Andrea, what do we have to put it in?
We've got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you could hit the notification bell, it really supports the channel. You get notified when a video drops, and then you can watch them.
Twice. Also, follow Instagram, and if you're new to the channel, you'll know in a moment why you need to follow, especially Andrea. It's motormouth_Andrea, and especially for me too, sure.
Yeah.
It's motormouth_auto. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. Okay, 0 to 100, what are we working with?
So we do have winter tires on this, and we are supposed to get 4.7 seconds.
Okay, and it's 8 degrees Celsius. Launch control, foot to the floor. Well, that's way better.
Wow. You could hear it spinning a little bit though.
That's better. 4.2.
Ooh, what? 4.2?
5.2.
5.2.
Okay, Andrea, we're gonna unbox this a little bit, talk about, is this AMG A35 worth the money for a hot hatch over, say, a Golf R?
Yeah, totally.
But first of all, what's under the hood?
It's got 302 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine.
And all the power goes to all 4 wheels using a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, and this has, of course, Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC system. All right, now, before we start doing the unboxing, we have to go through what do you get in this car. So let's do our key standard features.
The AMG A35 comes with a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, 10.25-inch touchscreen, heated front seats, AMG performance steering wheel and Nappa leather, power driver seat with memory, 64 color LED ambient lighting, panoramic sunroof, LED headlamps, tail lamps, and a high performance inside lighting system, and 18-inch wheels.
So I think this does qualify as a true hot hatch.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think you need to look at what's really available in the marketplace.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the hottest hatches has been discontinued. It was the Ford Focus RS, which is too bad because that really was something else. So, and another one is the Golf R and the Civic Type R, and that's really it, right?
Yeah.
There's not much really in the mega performance category.
The true hatch.
Yeah, and we do get more hot hatches in the European market, vehicles we just don't get here. Now, I have been to thousands of media launches, and the answer is always, well, unless the United States takes it, we can't take it, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Mercedes-Benz is able to go to Germany and say, give us an A35.
Yes.
And another one that's really cool that we get in Canada is the C-Class wagon.
Yeah, true.
And the C-Class wagon AMG.
Yes. So I just want to also say that in the United States, you do get the sedan, you just don't get the hatch. I definitely prefer a hatch.
This is the real European feel. When you go to Europe, you see little cars like this all the time. Now, I would say handling and power in this car is fantastic.
It is excellent, quick, nimble, fast on the straight, sporty. What more can you ask for?
I actually think the suspension in this car might be, for some people, a little bit harsh.
Yes.
I'm okay with it the way it is, but compared to the Golf R, now we should qualify this. We have not driven the brand new Mark 8 Golf that's going to be coming later in this year, but I have driven the existing Golf extensively, even on the track.
Yeah.
I find the Golf R standard suspension kind of soft, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I always call it Audi Light.
Yeah.
And when you drive it, when we had it on the track in Calabogie, the car kind of rolls quite a bit on its suspension. It's very smooth and it's a great daily driver, but this is more dialed in. This is more, you feel like you're driving something more performance oriented all the time. You can change the suspension. It's an adaptive suspension, of course. You can even do individual settings. Now, we should say the Golf R you can as well.
Yeah.
But even on its firmest suspension setting for the Golf R, doesn't feel as planted as this car.
There are 4 drive modes. We've got comfort, individual, sport, and eco.
Yep.
I like it in sport, feel it.
That's even Sport Plus. And you can even do individual. I like it in S for subscribe.
I think that's the only way to go. Ask for subscribe.
Okay, So power isn't an issue. It handles beautifully. It has an adaptive suspension. It's got a dual clutch transmission.
Yep.
It's a small little tight package. It really is.
Feels low to the ground, doesn't it?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
When you look at this car from the outside, it looks like it's, well, it is. It's slammed from the factory.
Yeah. It looks hot.
Yeah. I think that the stance, the way that they've got the suspension low and the sort of cropped roof,
Yeah.
it's like a little bullet.
Now, what about this interior? This really feels like I'm in a high-end luxury car. It does not feel
Andrea.
like an entry level.
Andrea, you are in a high-end luxury car.
Well, I'm talking about the more expensive Mercedes-Benz. I mean, the GLE that we drove, that was well over $100,000. It's
got the same look, though.
It has the same look, and that's what I love about Mercedes-Benz is that you can get into an entry-level vehicle and really feel super special.
It wasn't always like that. When
No.
they brought out this new class of small vehicles, whether it's the CLA, the GLA, the GLB, or this, or the
Yeah.
A-Class, they went to town on this interior. And I think that kudos to them for bringing these big screens down
Yeah.
to their entry-level cars. So it's called MBUX. Now,
Yes.
the nice thing about this, the screen sizes are bigger than the A-Class, right?
Yeah, so this one, the AMG, comes standard with a 10.25-inch touchscreen and a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster. Now, in the A250 model, you get a 7-inch, but you can upgrade to the 10.25 with the premium package.
So it's included in this AMG, but
Yeah.
trust me, when we get to the price, you're still paying for it.
Oh, for sure. And what about this steering wheel, Zach? It's a sporty steering wheel, and it's an AMG steering wheel,
And-
but it's missing something.
Yeah, no heat.
No
Not
heat.
available. This is a Canadian car in
Yeah.
Canada. And I emailed the PR rep from Mercedes-Benz and I said, does this car not have a heated steering wheel? Because we can't find the button and we can't find it online.
No.
And he said, don't shoot the messenger. It's not available with a heated steering wheel. Heated seats, yes, but
Yes.
heated steering wheel, no. And
And-
I got a theory about this.
Well, let me just say something before you give us your theory. The A250 does come with a heated steering wheel. It'll cost you $250.
You want to hear my theory?
I want to hear it.
So this car is a one-off for the Canadian market, not being sold in the United States.
Yeah.
So what I suspect happened is Mercedes-Benz Canada said, we want to take the A35 for the Canadian market. Mercedes-Benz in Germany said, you want the A35? This is it. Take it or leave it. We're not modifying it for the Canadian market. So that's probably what happened.
I can see that. I think it kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
doesn't it? If it's
Yeah.
only available in Europe and here, then
Yeah, that's
maybe
the way it
that's
goes.
the way to go.
Yeah. All right. It's a tight little package. Let's have a little break and answer some questions.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
So I just want to say we got amazing questions this week, but always we do. And I wish we could answer them all, but the video would be too long.
We do have a bonus question coming up later in the program, so stay tuned.
Okay, so let's get started. Being an entry-level Benz, how does the quality compare to other high-end cars in this range? It's clear it won't have all the same materials, but does it still live up to the standards of the three-pointed star? How does it also compare quality-wise to similar models from Audi and BMW? Love your videos. Well, thank you for that. Glad you love the content. I would say, yeah, quality-wise, it totally holds up, especially this interior.
Well, the old cars, the original A-Class we didn't get in North America, or the B-Class, and the small family Mercedes vehicles had not great interiors.
No.
But if you look at this MBUX system, you look at the dash, you look at the controller, everything is directly lifted out of the high-end cars. So I would say it does feel like a real Mercedes.
It really does.
No, just quickly, the S3
Yeah.
is an ancient car.
Yeah, it needs an update.
So this is better than that. And
Yeah.
compared to, say, a BMW, I prefer this than the BMW interior.
Yeah, the BMW interior is simpler, isn't it? Yeah. Add a few necessary options, and this vehicle easily surpasses $60,000. Compared to a Golf R, BMW X2, and other vehicles in this niche category, what kind of value proposition does the A35 offer?
Value?
Well, not much value at all, I would say. It is expensive once you get all the packages that you want on this model, but it's a special car, so I guess you're going to pay extra.
I think a lot of people who don't buy luxury or premium cars look at premium or luxury cars like a waste of money.
Right.
Right. Now, but people who do buy premium and luxury cars look at these purchases or leases, mostly leases, differently. This is about having something that somebody else doesn't have. And for that, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And they're willing to pay.
Yes, and it really is special.
Yeah.
From a competitive perspective, when it comes to value and practicality, would you go for the AMG or the M Sport from BMW, and why? Thank you. I love this. I think that it handles beautifully and it is quick on the straight, but the M is great too.
Well, which one? That's what I don't understand. Which M Sport is like a very vague question.
I think this generally the M badge.
But I think that BMW and Mercedes-Benz are so closely aligned when it comes to packaging and what they're trying to accomplish. BMW has expanded M, Mercedes has expanded AMG. They're both trying to do the same thing. So I think it really comes down to which car.
Which model.
Which model.
Yeah.
So that would be the answer to that. All right, is that it?
And that's it. That's a wrap.
All right, there you go. There's Questions Coffee Cars. If you want to get a question on the show, we do have a bonus one coming up. Make sure to follow Andrea, Motormouth_Andrea. And the music's here, which means it's time for Nightlife. All right, we've got a new feature. It's called Hot Topic. We take one of the questions from Questions, Coffee, and Cars, and then we expand on it as a topic. So who's the first one to do this?
So Johnny had a fantastic question. While the A35 hatch is an awesome performer, Mercedes has diluted the AMG brand by building some of their models on the regular factory floor. True, AMG engines like the E63S are hand-built by one person, and needless to say, are awesome cars. Did the soul of the AMG still pump through the veins of the A35? Yes. I think it does. And I love this question because you know what? This isn't a pure AMG engine. It is AMG enhanced. But boy, does it ever feel good. Like an AMG.
Well, I'm a bit torn on this. I'm going to be quite honest with you. As somebody who used to own an M car, when Andrea and I first started dating, I bought an M6. Remember that?
I remember
the original
it.
M6. Now that was just like the original AMGs, built in a separate factory, hand assembled, and then sent out to the owner. So with the AMG, I have been to a Waldebach in Germany where they make the real, hand-built AMG engines. And I asked the director and I said, what do you think about Mercedes-Benz taking AMG and sticking it on everything, like even an entry-level hatchback? Well, not entry-level, but a hatchback like this. And he bristled and answered quite quickly, and he said, no. He says, even though some of the cars are not made here, we still do all the engineering work here.
I know, and Mercedes-Benz is adamant that this is not diluted.
At least with these cars that have AMG on them, they are kind of special.
I think they're special.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
But not as special as they used to be.
Sure, and I agree with that. But how is Mercedes-Benz supposed to come up with an entry-level AMG and keep it somewhat affordable for a luxury brand?
Well,
let's be honest.
Well, while we're on the topic of the cost, let's do a price pause. All right, Andrea, what does this thing cost?
The A-Class hatchback starts at $38,300. This AMG A35 hatch starts at $49,800. Zach and I put together our own build, and I actually really like the red color, the Patagonia red. That'll cost us $1,400. But with the premium package, which has the heated seats and all the extras, plus the AMG driver's package, we need that. And the night package, because I really like all the jet black gloss trim that's around the car. This one doesn't have it, the one that we're test driving, but I think it would look super cool. So we're coming in at about $58,500.
So Andrea, there's going to be a lot of people are going to be saying, are you crazy? Almost $60,000 for a little hatchback?
I know.
But you can't look at it on its own. You have to look at it in comparison to the competition. So let's see what else you can pick.
Yes.
For your consideration, 4 categories and 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Our first category is the sedan alternative. We chose the Audi S3, but if budget wasn't an issue, we'd choose the RS3. The S3 has 288 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, coming in at $48,500. The RS3 is over $65,000 with 394 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque.
The non-premium alternative is pretty obvious. It's the Volkswagen Golf R. The new one is coming later in the year, 315 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Pricing has not been announced, but look for this vehicle to arrive just before Christmas.
Our Japanese alternative goes to the Honda Civic Type R with 306 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It comes in at just under $48,000.
Now, we've chosen a BMW alternative because Mercedes and BMW are always battling it out. That goes to the M235 Grand Coupe with 301 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque, and it starts at basically $51,000.
And there are 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Oh, there's one major difference, Andrea.
What's that, Zach?
Transmission.
Yeah.
This comes with a dual clutch, which is great, but no manual. The Civic Type R comes with a manual transmission only. You can't get it with an automatic. So I would suggest that if it was me personally and I wanted to have a hot hatch and I wanted a manual, it would be no question I'd get the Golf R. But if I didn't know how to drive manual, I consider this.
I would totally consider this. I mean, I haven't driven the Golf R. I wouldn't, with the current Golf R, I wouldn't choose that over this. I would choose this over that for sure.
Why?
Because I just like this better.
You just like the look of it?
I like the look of it, but I like how it handles.
Yeah. If you like something that's more compliant for everyday use, this might not be the car for you. The suspension is kind of quite sharp. You can leave the engine in a more relaxed mode, but the suspension, especially for places like Quebec where they have horrible roads, you know, other parts of the country where there's a lot of potholes, this might not be the one for you.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to the fuel economy, there's one other thing that might not be for you, the back seat.
Yeah, the back seat is quite cramped. We have driven the GLA, the GLB, the GLC within the last, 4 or 5 months, and there's obviously a lot more space in the GLA than there is in this. For you, it must be really cramped because I even had trouble with my legs back there.
All right, let's see what this thing uses in fuel, premium fuel.
It gets 10.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.1 on the highway, and a 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers combined.
And the US miles per gallon are on the bottom. So I don't know, Andrea, this car is unique because it is a Mercedes-Benz and it's a high-performance hatchback. There really isn't a close competitor to it. If you want a Mercedes-Benz and you want a hot hatch,
this is it.
This is it.
This is a hot hatch with a lot of soul.
And we have to applaud Mercedes-Benz Canada for bringing it in. There are so few true hot hatches, and this is one of them. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.